Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to be here in beautiful Prague, and welcome to all of you. I know that all of you guys have been taking some journey time off from Poland, traveling all the way to Prague. I am sure that the day will be of benefit to you, and you will go back with some great memories. So the topic for my presentation today is Power Distribution Redefined. So what does this mean? In simple terms, it means how is the world of power distribution transforming itself with the trends and transformations that are happening around us in this world. My name is Asrar Mufti. I am part of a team of Schneider Electric that drives our digitization strategy. I am responsible to drive the digital strategy in Europe, Middle East, Africa, and India. I've been with Schneider Electric for about 20 years, so it's my pleasure to be in Prague with you today. So my presentation today will be addressing two main topics. The first topic is energy. What is happening with the world of energy? What are the transformations that are going through energy? Why are those transformations irreversible? How do they impact us? That's point one. And secondly, I'm going to address the topic of what is Schneider Electric doing about it, and how can we, Schneider Electric together with its partners, which is you, how can we handle this great opportunity that is in front of us, benefit from it, and drive it rather than be driven by it. So I'd start with the transformation of the energy world. There are some things that are now more or less a given. It is quite understood, it is accepted. When we talk about reducing carbon intensity, the world has come to realize that the way energy is getting consumed today is not sustainable. Today, COP22, the countries, they've all gotten together, and we know that the typhoons, the storms, the havoc that the tornadoes are creating around us, it's all due to global warming. And if we do not act now, if we do not take charge, we are not going to have a world that we can leave for our future generations, something that they will be proud of. So it's a given topic now, something that is more or less understood. It is, on top of that, it is the efficiency that we are getting out of the system. So if you look at our legacy energy management systems, there are two elements into it. The first is the power generation part. Now, it is a global realization today that the way we produce power by burning fossil fuels is no longer sustainable. It is a highly inefficient system, 60% losses. 40% is the efficiency of a legacy power system that is driven by burning coal or by burning fossil fuels. So a great opportunity to move into a direction which will cut this huge inefficiency that we have in this energy burning system that goes into producing energy. But this is part one of it. Most of the global focus goes into this part. So we are looking at how we transform the way we produce energy from traditional into more renewables. But there's another aspect of it that is sometimes not getting the kind of attention that it deserves. And that is the demand side. How do we consume this energy? How efficient are we today in consuming the power that is generated by these inefficient plants? And the picture is really bleak. With the combustion engines, the fuel-driven cars, the transportation systems, the efficiency in that part of the demand side is equally bad. We are at 70% losses when we look at the way our energy is consumed on the demand side today. A huge potential, a massive potential to improve this challenge that we are facing. So what is the answer on it? The answer is two things. Of course, on the generation side, we are moving rapidly into renewables. So the sun and the solar and the wind are replacing rapidly our traditional systems. And why do I say on my slide, no losses? No losses because the sun, the wind is an infinite source of energy. Compared to fossil fuels, which are very limited in what we have, those resources, once consumed, are not going to come back. Look at the sun and the wind. As long as we take good care of our planet, these resources are going to be with us. So anything that we generate by using these resources is, by inherent definition, a no-loss equation. Then, on the second part of it, we are moving massively towards electrification of the demand side. Electric cars is becoming a reality. We are moving rapidly into replacing old combustion engines by more electric-driven engines. On the other side, even within buildings, even within industry, most of the power consumption is moving towards a very rapid electrification. Dividing by 2 the amount of losses that are happening in the power consumption side. So if you look at this equation on the 2 sides, where we are moving to, we are dividing by 2 the losses that are happening. So it means that we are increasing our efficiency by 2. So there is no doubt on this massive shift that's happening. So this is an irreversible process. It will only become better with time. So imagine that today, if we have 60% losses, we are looking at a system that will move very rapidly into reducing these losses at around 30%. So this is a fact that is driving our strategy. This is a fact that is driving the way we look at how we build our future, how a company like Schneider Electric, which is a leader in taking charge of trends and transformations. We believe in looking at the future by addressing these trends head on. And we look at our partners, how together we can benefit and make the best out of this opportunity rather than be driven by somebody else. 3 things impact us when we move in this rapid transformation. There are 3 very important points that we need to take care of. The first, when we move into a highly electrified new energy world, we expect that energy is a given. We expect that 100% uptime is something that I deserve. We are moving into critical large infrastructures where any loss of energy is not acceptable at all. The picture behind the screen is very dark here. If you see this picture behind, you may see some shades here. This is a picture that is taken in the CIS forum in Las Vegas. In Las Vegas, every year, they gather all the global startups, all the brilliant minds, all the brains that have brought up the best technologies, and they present it to the world. Guess what? 50,000 people in Las Vegas, the whole event lost electricity. Unimaginable, but this is what is happening. So for the whole day, almost 6 hours, people who had flown in from all over the world with booths and presentations, no activity the whole day. A huge loss financially, but also on the other side, a loss of prestige, a loss of so many other things. Look at the losses that take place in our processes if we have a power disruption. In a semiconductor plant, an event can cost you easily 4 million euros. Why 4 million euros? Because if the process stops, you need to get rid of all the stock that's in the process and start all over again. It's a very expensive feature. In a financial center, in a data center, in a hospital, it can be catastrophic. I'm not going to all of them, but just I want to make the point that power uptime is more and more an expectation as we move into the new digital world. We can no longer afford to accept poor quality power disturbances, power losses. Not possible in the future that we see. Coming to the second point. The second point is decentralization of the grid. So we have seen in the legacy system, we used to have very large power producing plants, transporting electricity to large urban centers or industrial units where electricity gets consumed. So we had a generation, a transmission, and a distribution system. Now what's happening is that this system is getting decentralized. With renewables spreading all over the place, We are now producing power by these renewable solar systems or by wind farms very close to where it gets consumed. So the whole power chain has been disturbed. It's no longer a sequential flow. We are now looking at a power distribution system in which producer and a consumer can shift places, in which you have a mix of when you are consuming and when you are producing, and how you are switching between various sources of energy. Now imagine the rapid change that's happening in this. In Australia, we're going to have 45% of energy coming in from renewable resources in the next 10 years. But this is far away in Australia. If we look here, closer here in Germany, for example, 65% of energy is coming from renewables. And by the year 2030, which is just 11 years from now, 65% of energy in Germany will be from renewables. And imagine the amount of, sorry to say, mess that it creates in managing that traditional power grid. So a huge challenge in managing this decentralization of power. And on the other side, we're all getting hooked to digitization. We're all getting connected more and more. The internet is spreading to the industrial internet. And as more and more devices get connected to this internet, we have devices talking to each other and systems talking to each other, and we are exponentially blowing up the creation of data. So between now and the year 20, in the next 2 to 3 years only, the amount of data that is created today will multiply by a factor of 3 or even more. So data is creating havoc with the way we are behaving, the way we are consuming, the way we are addressing our challenges. So a massive shift in operational complexity. So this is the second point. Challenges in operational complexity. And finally, my third point. The third point is that because of this very rapid change, the change is happening so rapidly that we are not able to keep pace with it. Our competencies, our skills are not able to change as rapidly as the system is changing. So this leads to a massive need for developing competencies at scale. Now, how do we develop these competencies at scale? It's not easy. If you look today, 50% of construction cost is linked to the engineering part of it. It is the brain, the human power that goes behind building those large buildings, those complex industrial plants, those processes that we run. 50% of the cost is in energy, in construction engineering. And over the last 5 years, we've taken data with our customers. We've looked at it very deeply. And we realized the amount of potential there is to optimize those processes. If you look to the bottom of the screen, we have the potential to optimize engineering work by about 35%. Commissioning costs can be further optimized by leveraging digital technologies, another 30%. And on the operational side, huge potential to become more efficient in the way we use our energy. And a lot of potential in improving the life expectancy of our assets, asset optimization, more than 22%. And when we know that today, the way buildings consume power, the OPEX is easily 5 times the amount of investment that goes into the CAPEX. A huge amount of OPEX needs to be managed better. Energy efficiency, optimization of assets over the whole lifetime of a project. So this is what is the competencies at scale that our markets will demand from us, and we need to address that. And how do we address that? Now, obviously, we cannot multiply competent people and put them all over the world. Leveraging artificial intelligence, leveraging analytics, leveraging the digitization and the cloud. That is where Schneider Electric intends to go. That is how we intend to leverage the power of the human brain and multiply it and take it and spread it to places that it cannot otherwise be taken to. So, how does the new energy world look like? We are zooming into a future very rapidly, very fast. This future is sometimes turning. We don't know where it will finally end, but we are all into this. Together, this room, everybody, we are going into a future that is very challenging, that's very rapidly changing, and we together, you and us, we need to gear up to face this challenge. And how do we face this challenge? That's the number 2 of my presentation. I said the first part would be the energy and its challenges. The second part would be what is Schneider Electric's response to it. We have really thought about it, and we have come up with something that we call EcoStruxure. This is the Schneider Electric answer to face this worldwide global challenge. And our answer is very simple. We try to simplify our answer in 3 steps only. The first step, productize to cut complexity. The second one, we cannot do it alone. How do we build an ecosystem that can bring this to our markets? And number 3, how do we unleash this expertise at scale, addressing what we call the lack of competencies that the world is going to need. So 1, 2, 3, the 3 steps. And I'm going to address these 3 steps with practical examples, with live references that we have deployed, places in the world, and where we see potential to deploy this in this part of the world also. So what is productize to cut complexity? Productize to cut complexity means simplify, standardize, plug and play, which means that rather than re-engineer stuff from the ground up to build new solutions, we look at how we can standardize things and multiply that by very simple engineering. So even in our panel boards, we are putting more and more intelligent devices that plug and play, interact with each other with minimum outside engineering interference. Now on the other side, we look at reference architectures, learning by experience. Now of course, when we look at our projects, what's happening in the market, we may be doing data centers, hotels, large malls, hospitals. So what's happening is that these buildings are now becoming standard. So depending upon the size and the application, we have put into place architects, solution architects we call them. These solution architects have pre-designed what we call tested, validated, and documented architectures. So rather than build an architecture from scratch, depending upon the size of a data center, you can take a solution that has been applied and validated somewhere and apply it to the next project. So this is what we call reference architecture. Decrease the time to market by utilizing your experience and utilizing tools that can give you those solutions, that can validate your designs without having to build everything from scratch. Practical example. Interaction. Interaction is a large co-location data center company. Within Europe, they have more than 50 data centers, addressing about 1,600 customers. Now, requirements of a company like Interaction, they need to rapidly adapt to changing market conditions. They need to build data centers much more rapidly than the way they used to do in the past. What did we do with them? We delivered a data center in 2 months flat. A data center that traditionally takes more than 6 months to build and deliver. We started early in the project, we engaged with them, we used our reference architectures, we used our technology that has been tested, validated, and delivered a data center in 2 months. And not only a simple data center, a data center with a 5.9 degree of reliability, 99.999. So, and that too coming from a very complex network where you had a 90% of the energy coming in from renewable sources. So this is what we call productizing to cut complexity. We standardize it, we standardize the solution, we use our reference architectures, and we multiply to scale. This is number 1. Number 2, energizing and enabling an energy management ecosystem. So how do we bring these solutions to market? In spite of our best efforts, Schneider Electric cannot reach everywhere. That is why we have been engaging consistently, strategically with partners. And the best way for us is to engage and develop our partner network. We've not been doing this from today. This is something that we've been doing for so many years. We are driving a program that we call the EcoExpert program. This EcoExpert program qualifies, certifies, trains partners. We provide them the tools, the softwares, the trainings, the competency to take this technology and address the market. Right now, more than 3,500 global partners are part of this network. And guess what? This is a partner network that is growing double-digit year on year. A lot of people out there in the market, they want to become our partners, they want to engage with us, take these technologies and bring them to the market. Of course, we support them with collaborative platforms. We have platforms that we call the Schneider Electric Exchange. More than 650,000 users on this collaborative platform. And we bring to them not just simple solutions, we bring to them life cycle tools. That means tools that help these partners along the entire life of a project, from the CapEx to the OpEx. A full suite of life cycle tools. Example, in Poland, Mondelez, one of the largest food and beverage companies worldwide. They have 2 plants in Poland. We have a global contract with Mondelez. Mondelez is, by the way, they produce Kraft Foods, Cadbury's, Nabisco, a lot of brands that you see in the market today. They're manufactured by a company called Mondelez. 2 plants in Poland. We addressed them by building smart products into their field devices, providing them with edge control softwares, and then on top of it, giving them some analytics, artificial intelligence-based advisory layers. And guess what? Savings on energy maintenance, savings on energy, and ROI of 2.5 years is expected. Now, this is something that we have delivered in Poland by ourselves. But this is not what we really want to do. This is an example. This is what we call taste your own food. Prove that what you are talking about, you can deliver to the market. So we have delivered this project in Poland. What we look forward to is engaging with partners and multiplying this kind of a project in the market by a value of 10, 100, and why not beyond. But for here, this is where we are looking at scaling this through partners. Of course, worldwide we have so many partners, but in this region, really to reach the level of competency, we are looking forward to more engagement, better engagement in delivering these kind of projects in the market. And finally, this is what we call the unleashing the expertise at scale. And here we talk about leveraging the power of cloud, artificial intelligence, getting connected to those hundreds of thousands and millions of field devices, connecting them to the cloud, getting information, analyzing, crunching that data, and coming up with solutions. Over the last 5 years, and this is an internal research and survey that we have done, over the last 5 years, when we implemented our analytics and advisors, what we have concretely delivered is an asset optimization of up to 22%, which means increasing the life of your critical assets by more than 22% by knowing exactly what's happening inside your critical networks. By the way, you're running a hospital, you have a power shutdown, you have a transformer that's heating up, you don't know what's happening inside the transformer until it blows up. Using analytics, you are able to address these kind of things in advance by getting information out from the transformer that tells you that something is wrong. And if you don't address it now, it's going to reach a point where it will blow up. So taking not only preventive, we call it predictive, moving from preventive to predictive by using analytics. And on the other side, you look at the energy management part of it, looking at the way you consume your energy, analyzing that 30% of energy efficiency has been achieved. This is by leveraging the power of the cloud, by bringing in that intelligence of the cloud that locally at the ground it is very difficult to achieve, it is difficult to scale. So this is the 1, 2, 3. Live examples of the number 3, I talk about IKEA in Korea. They deployed our solution that we call EcoStruxure Asset Advisor. Exactly the kind of solution I was talking about, looking into their critical assets, we put some sensors on these critical assets. They start spitting out data into the cloud, analyzing that. 15% increase in the life expectancy of their critical assets. This is IKEA in Korea. We looked at a large mining company. This was in China. A mining company that has hundreds and thousands of power distribution points. We looked at their meters, 600 power meters across their network. We made them intelligent, we put some smart devices over them, collected the data, and then we analyzed it. Guess what? 15 million euros of annual savings were achieved just by analyzing the way they were consuming their energy and finding out those gaps, those areas of improvement. Massive, massive improvement in energy efficiency in these kind of end users. A financial company called Blackstone. This company manages customers in industrial units. We work with an offer that we have, we call it EcoStruxure Resource Advisor. So Resource Advisor does two things. It looks at the way you consume your energy, and it also looks at the way you buy your energy. So what are the sources of your energy? How can you mix the different sources of your energy and match them to the way you consume them? 60 million euros of saving, documented and guaranteed. So this is leveraging the power of the cloud, getting intelligence on board and giving substantial bottom line benefit. Let's go back to the basic. So we built this EcoStruxure story around 3 layers. We decided to put more and more intelligence on the field devices. So just let's switch backwards into the legacy. 10 years back, we were producing circuit breakers. Very few of them would be really smart. Today, most of these devices are now becoming smart and intelligent. The basic layer of smart and intelligent devices is complemented by what we call edge control solutions. Smart systems sitting very close to where you're consuming your power. So these smart systems, edge control systems, gather all this data that's coming up from the field devices and give you dashboards and management tools to improve both your energy efficiency as well as your asset management. Now these are things happening at site, but if we have to scale it globally, we take the power of the cloud on the 3rd layer, where we connect hundreds and thousands of devices, analyze them, pick up trends, look at what could be compromising your network, and give out advice and information on how to run your systems better. By the way, in the field of power distribution, Schneider Electric is a global leader, and the challenge we have on this site is immense. Just to remind you, Schneider Electric produces 500 million circuit breakers every year. We ship 500 million, which means 2 million circuit breakers are shipped out of our factories on a daily basis. So it brings along with it immense responsibility also, because having a leadership in the market also demands from us that we lead the transformation. Now, of course, today, out of this 500 million circuit breakers, not all of them are smart. But we know that a substantial part of these are becoming more and more smart as we move into the future. What's new in 2019? What are the new smart things that we are doing, that we are building, that we are bringing to the market? ION 9000 is a meter, as the world's most accurate meter, an accuracy of 0.1%. We've launched already the Master Pack MTZ, but we're really now bringing it to the market, bringing it to the customer. The world's real smart air circuit breaker. circuit breaker that is connected to the cloud, that can download its programs, that can upgrade, that can be upgraded, and that can be controlled by your remote devices, by your mobile devices, a smart circuit breaker. We've just launched a medium voltage relay that we call the EcoStruxure P3, a smart relay, built-in arc flash protection, able to integrate into any kind of a medium voltage system with any kind of protocols. On the edge layer, facility expert, power monitoring expert, and power scale operation. We have refined these offers, we have upgraded them, and we have really built them smart and able to drive those critical applications and to bring the power to the customer. And at the advisory layer, the asset advisor, giving you intelligence to optimize your asset performance, and power advisor, which goes deep into the way your power networks are behaving, picking up any power quality issues that may compromise your power quality at any point of time. So these are things that we are scaling to the market right now, and these are things that are bringing benefit to our customers. To summarize, long speech, but I just want to compress it finally in one message. On the left side of my screen, we are moving very rapidly into a new electric world. The change is irreversible. We better prepare ourselves to take the best benefit of it because we have no other choice. How do we do it? The challenges that it throws at us, it throws three challenges. Uptime, number 2, partner network, and number 3, competencies at scale. And what is the solution that Schneider brings? We productize it, we enable an energy management ecosystem, and we unleash expertise at scale. So this is a summary of what I bring to you. Now, the future is there for us. It is for us to take the benefit of it. Schneider Electric is driving this change, and it wants to drive it with its partners. Partners, end users, designers, panel builders, systems integrators, everybody has to contribute and be a part of this journey with Schneider Electric. And we all look forward to engaging more closely with you in this journey. Thank you very much.